Perfect.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Lucky Duck Decoys. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
That is right.
Shot your limited birds this morning. Been a good 4 days. No, 5 days. We're 5 days in.
We're 5 days in.
Hunting has been absolutely wonderful.
I had to do a switcheroo.
We did do a switcheroo today. Andy did not listen to me while we scouted last night, and I said, hey, I suggest we move back east about 3 miles. The birds are not coming this way. Andy ignored me.
False.
Logan was done before 7 a.m. By 8:30, Andy was done in the same spot.
Yep.
What do you mean it's false? What did I say that's false?
Chris, does this sound like a suggestion? Whenever he says, hey, are you sure you want to hunt that place? He says he suggested that I go to this spot. He said, what do you think about this one spot? That's a question. That's not a suggestion.
That is definitely a question, a loaded question.
Right,
that,
yeah.
right?
So now he's playing devil's advocate the next day when it didn't work out.
Andy's been doing this long enough of all the guides. I trust all my guides, do I not?
Yeah.
And I let y'all do what y'all want to do 90% of the time.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I'll override y'all. And so I suggested, and I even drove back by it hoping that Andy would be like, ooh, that's what I think I want to do. But he didn't bite on them at the suggestion I made or when I enticed him by going back by the field. So this morning when the birds were coming, there's about a 7-mile area that the birds come from the north when we're in a drought situations like this. And they've been feeding west of Knox City a bunch. We've been shooting a lot of birds west and east. Well, this morning I noticed last night the traffic had shifted back east. Well, it did it big time this morning. So as soon as Logan got done and when we shot one limit real fast, I said, hey, I called Andy up and Andy said, let me think about it for 5 minutes.
I had a flock coming. I wanted to see what it was going to do.
And then he called me and said, okay, we're coming. Now, the customers are great guys. They hunt with us a lot. The clients. And the client come in and thanked me. And I said, oh, it was all Andy. He said, Jeff, I heard you on the phone. So I got thanked by the customer for it. But anyways, it was a team deal, but we switched the people around. I had a corporation. I've got an oil company hunting with me this weekend. And they had a gas line break somewhere. They're working and they can't hunt. So I've got a hell of a special. If you want to come hunt this weekend, you can use our deposit for 10 guys. It's $450 to hunt the weekend. It's just for this weekend. That price ain't good for nothing else. I just have a weekend. This weekend, it's a last-minute deal. This comes out on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
If you want to show up here Friday night and have dinner and hunt for 2 mornings, it's $450 a person.
So like a gas leak? Like
A gas line broke or
is
something.
Texas in trouble?
No. Those guys work on a pipeline. It's an oil pipeline broke, but the guy said, this don't happen but 3 times a year for us. And he said, we have to fix it and we will not be done by Sunday.
There you go.
So anyways, but he said, you know what? We don't expect to get our deposit back. He said, use it for somebody else. And I said, well, that's what I'd rather do.
Perfect.
So it was good. And he was not an ass about it. He goes, I don't expect to give any money back. I don't want to move a deposit. I understand business. We need more people like that in this industry.
So, Chris, are your customers that understanding?
You got to introduce him.
Chris Williams Knife, back on again. You've been on a whirlwind tour, and now you're an elf.
Now I am definitely going to be an elf from here on out. One chain to the floor for sure. Going back to your question about customers, our customers are fabulous, 100%. And one of my favorite things to do is interact with them. But I was going to make a comment about your clients. They are going to have some really good duck karma from that gesture right there. That I was just thinking when you were saying that those guys are going to have one of the best seasons after they fix this pipeline that they've ever had. I feel it.
Yeah. Most of our guys, and I think that's just there are some turds in the waterfowl and the hunting world in general, but I mean, I think most guys, a lot of them are hardworking and a lot of them, they understand that things can happen, and most of the guys are good in our industry. I at least want to think that.
Yeah, I would think this industry in and of itself is probably, from a percentage wise of good guys versus bad guys, is head and shoulders above a lot of other industries out there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, if you get into outfitters that have been in business for 5 years plus, you're going to find a lot of really good dudes, or try to be good dudes. Now, it is business, and we are in business to make money. And I hate to tell people that, but that's the bottom line to the whole deal. And we get abused more than any other industry when it comes to people wanting rebates, free shit all the time. Every charitable organization hits you up. A fucking plumber. There's nobody ever asked a plumber for a donation on doing a job. Never. But it happens on being an outfitter. I mean, I've never heard anybody say, hey, let's hit up that guy there and see if he'll throw in free plumbing for a house for a giveaway. It doesn't happen. But hunting is that way. But if you've been in business 5 years and you're still there and you're running a solid books of business, you're good to people, or you won't be in business still. I really believe, especially if your business is growing, especially with social media today, because we're kind of like that old saying. You see that meme all the time about, if McDonald's screws up your order, you continue to go back to it. But if a mom and pop hamburger joint screws up your order once, all you do is chastise them on the internet and you never go back again. And there's a lot of truth to that.
There really is. I mean, it's the way we look at it, and the way I've always said, we're only as good as our last product, right? We're only as good as our last experience, and I could see how that translates over to you guys' business as well. But gosh, that's so accurate in what you say. It's the mom and pops that get the damn beat down, for one bad experience. But damn, somebody will go sit in line at McDonald's, drive off, not have their fries, and go right back the next day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
No offense to McDonald's, I don't support the fast food industry, man. I just don't. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A never screws up an order that I know of. I've never been to Chick-fil-A and got the wrong shit. But McDonald's I had many, many, many times. But I still go to some, and I don't shop at many of them many times. But Chick-fil-A has better food, better products, I think, than McDonald's. Let's go. Speaking of customer service and giving back, I'm gonna brag on your company. You sent me and Andy some knives a year ago when you were on the podcast this last February on it, and you sent us a bunch of knives, and we use them around here. One of them,
I've got the shiv right here.
I cut steaks all the time, and I use it's like a fillet knife, and it's the best. I cut bulk ribeyes, and I use it. Then I went and purchased. Now this is it right now. I don't purchase many products. I'm not going to lie to people. I am a full hardcore blue blood Democrat when it comes to getting free shit, because people send us free crap all the time. Right. I'm embarrassed to tell you that, but it's true. From fake boobs to tennis shoes, whatever you got, I'm gonna try my best to get a deal out of you. But I went online and I bought a knife from y'all, and I bought a cleaver type knife for
culinary.
The culinary knife. Absolutely outstanding. Those two knives, I can cut 2 or 3 bulk ribeyes. I cut bulk ribeyes 2 days ago. I don't have to sharpen them every freaking time I use them. They work really, really, really good, and I wanted to break out that. And when we did our Gold Star hunt, you donated some lock blade knives. I don't know what you call them.
Just the flip knife.
The pocket knife type deal. And you gave that to all those Gold Star kids, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for those donations and for selling good products.
Oh, well, 100%. I thank you guys, for having me on and help spread the word. When you reached out about the event and told me, the youth hunt, et cetera, that's a no-brainer. I'm extremely passionate about continuing to bring the focus of the outdoors to our youth, because it's one thing that was really, really heavily offered to me as a young man. And I see so many kids these days that especially my son's now, he's 18, he's driving all over the place hunting like a madman. But as he was growing up, we would bring his buddies with us, and some of them had never put on camouflage before. Some of them never sat in a deer stand before. Some of them had never been on a duck hunt before. Some of them never hardly been in the damn woods before. And so it's and we have a segment of our product line that caters to the indoors and the kitchen, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of my products are associated with the outdoors, and it's kind of brand longevity, right? The more we got to continue to educate our youth into our resources, our natural resources, and the opportunities outside. So anytime I get an opportunity to do that, we try to bend over backwards to make that happen. So it's going back to your what you said a moment ago about in this industry, you get a lot of ask, right? I get a lot of ask. And we try our best to try to do something for as many as we can, right? I can't do it for everybody. We pick out a couple of really good opportunities each year and really drive in hard and focus on those. And but man, anytime it's kids, we're on it. cool story, not to get off track, but opening day of dove season this past September, I guess. Yeah, I'm losing my mind here. Christmas time, right? So opening day of dove season, I'm at a buddy's farm, South Alabama, great place, awesome. Got a beautiful dove field, has a small group of guys to come out and shoot. One of which is a pastor and his young son who came with the host, his brother-in-law, I guess you would say. And he had the pastor had his young son with him, great guy. You could tell the young man had never been hunting before, et cetera. So I'm playing the duty of carting people out to their spots in the field on my Polaris and getting people settled. And as I'm riding back, I'm thinking about that little boy marching through the field, and I can see Banks, my son, doing the same thing. Couldn't hardly tote his BB gun with him at the time, and this kid had his little 410 ready to go. He and his dad. I mean, he was minding. I was like, oh my gosh, he's like better than any kid I've ever seen, right? And so drop him off, get him out there. I'm riding back, and I just remember I'm like, damn, I actually have a folding knife that I was going to drop off to a guy that we couldn't meet up in my truck. Never been used, not open, in the box, ready to go. And so I grabbed that thing, took it back out. As I'm riding out, I see my man pop up from beside his dad, drill this one lonesome dove flying across the field, drops it, runs out, and he beats the dog out there. It was unbelievable. And I, hauled ass across the field and handed him that knife as he was getting to his bird. And gosh, just, I got the nicest thank you note in the mail, and just, it was just one of those experiences. And as I drove off, I saw his father and him just kind of looking at it, and his dad showing it to him. And it's just a really, really cool experience to hand a young man a knife on the very first animal he had ever harvested. Right. So, just really, really cool deal.
Those are fun moments. Because you can kind of start to see the young boy start to mature in a way, when he's out in the field, and when things like that happen. I carry that pocket knife that you sent us. I carry it everywhere. It's what I carry now. But kids, they really, really start to kind of mature right in front of your eyes, and it's kind of the step to manhood, if you will, having a pocket knife. And Mike, I hope that my kids will always kind of carry a pocket knife, because, I mean, you never know when you're going to need it, and you're never going to know if you're ever going to have to, God forbid, defend yourself with something. But, sure. It's just kind of that you start to see that they're on that track to manhood in a sense.
100%. I mean, after the hunt, when we were all standing around, we've got all the birds together, we're getting ready to clean. You could look at the young man and just see his confidence level had completely changed from 2 hours ago, prior to that experience. And I just thought, part of me was like, damn, I wish I could go back in time and like shrink my kids back and have them back out there doing that with me again. Then I get the text picture from my son, and he's, got his buddies, and they've killed a massive limit, and he's headed to go do it again the next day. It's just, time's fleeting, man. If I have any advice for anybody out there, enjoy those moments. Don't become a knife maker and miss out on all these cool outdoor activities.
Yeah, it really is. My oldest is 9 now, and I kind of started doing the math the other day. He had a birthday in October, and I was like, well, like, we're halfway there basically. Like, another night, if we do this the same 9 years over again, he's going to be 18 and, ready to conquer the world. And this first 9 years, I remember bringing him home. Yeah.
I mean, it's in South Carolina, you can drive at 15.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So, and I know that's only a year different than most states, but man, it's a game changer. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a game changer. My son had friends that were in middle school with him that had been held back. South Carolina's a big sports state, yep. Right? And a lot of them hold them back, so they'll be the biggest and strongest of that grade. But he had kids in middle school had damn permits. But anyway, so at 15, 16, he's a great kid, trust him to no end, and man, he is just an outdoorsman to the hilt. And he so 9 years or 18 years of the last 2.5 have been he is really just turned into this young man. It's like where are you? I got to text you and find out what kind of cool adventure you're on this weekend, you know?
So where did you go right as a parent? Because, I'm kind of in that, I got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. So it's like we're coming up on that time where I'm going to have to take a step back, at least, with the 9-year-old and then later with the 5-year-old. But like, what do you think it was that you did right that you can just be like, all right, I trust you enough to go out there and make the right decision?
Gosh, I don't know if I did anything right, honestly. I was blessed with great children, boy and a girl. One thing I always did, I took him everywhere with me. Took my daughter a lot of places as well. She's awesome, unbelievable, bleeding heart, never wants to hurt an animal. So she's not into to this space, the outdoor space, as much. But I took my son everywhere with me. Literally took him everywhere with me. It's like my lab, My lab goes everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And if he can't come, or she can't come, I don't go. That's just the bottom line. And so I took him just from places where his mom was like, "What in the hell were you thinking?" Kind of thing. And I let him sit in some deer stands early on by himself. After seeing him and his proficiency with a bow, etc. But I got turned loose at an early age, and I felt like I owed it to my son Banks to do the same thing. He's not a perfect child. He's made errors in his life, but he's made a whole lot more successes, and he's earned that opportunity to be set free. And what I find is that the more freedom that we've given him and turned him loose, the more we don't worry about it, because he's respectful. He's respectful. He's got this inherent, appreciation for our resources outdoors. I mean, he can damn score a deer on the hoof like nobody's business. It's unbelievable. He just harvested a fabulous deer a week ago, like killer deer for South Carolina. Over 140 inches, which is a good deer for South Carolina.
Anywhere, really.
Yeah, 100%. And called me from the stand, FaceTime me, and was like, oh my God, I think I got, but I don't know. You don't know that I did anything right other than just keep my fingers crossed. And I've always told them this. I've told both of my kids this. I've said manners, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and respect your fellow citizen, no matter who and what they are. Anybody. That'll take you so much further than education, money, like anything. And I take them places and they're like, "Damn, your kids are well mannered. Like they're so well, like they're." Yeah, we've been beating it into them, early on, and not literally, but that was important to me, because it was important from down through my lineage. Be respectful. Still to this day, if I feel like that they're even a day older than me, they're getting sir or ma'am or whatever. I have so many people say, please stop calling me Mr. Please saying yes sir. Hey, I'm not going to do it until you tell me, but that's, I don't know, I've been real blessed, and I just hope that there's more people out there giving young people a chance, because that's what's going to keep them off the damn telephones, right? It's what's going to keep them off all this crap on social media and shit that they see. That's like, I mean, I saw some of your podcast stuff. Our world's on fire, man. I mean, it is. It's unbelievable. And it's like, the more that I know he's in the woods doing his thing with his buddies, man, it's just my heart feels at ease. Now he's found girls and he's got a girlfriend and all that good stuff too. Like any other 18-year-old, but just been real blessed. I mean, building a damn duck hole for his senior project, like
nothing wrong with that.
Unbelievable. Like I want to go back to that school.
we need kids with manners. That's hard to find these days. In the South, it's still not that uncommon. And I'm not trying to put barriers on things, but when you get up north, you don't find very many adults with manners. I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to old ladies at cafes, or if the ladies here that work for us ask me something, I say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, just out of habit. It's just It's just as
100%.
like when I was a judge, I'd have kids come into court all the time, and I'd make a kid say yes sir, no sir. I mean, we can sit here all day long, and you can say yeah, and just look at me, but until you say yes sir, no sir, we're not done. And I was the boss in that room, and until I let you go, you weren't going to go. And I made them say yes sir, no sir to me. The kids that come into it, I'd find myself giving them a better deal. Yes sir, no sir, and I could have the biggest piece of turd in town come in and see me. And if he said yes sir, no sir, I was a little bit more lenient on him just because he was respectful. Now, when he walked out that door, he could call me a fat bastard. I didn't care. But in that room, he was going to be respectful. And we just don't teach. We don't, people, not just kids, adults, we do not have near the respect in the world we should have when it comes to manners.
We really don't. And you know, and that's such a simple thing that translates so big, you know. I mean, it has such powerful implications. Just like you said, in the legal profession, a young man or young lady coming in front of you, and from the first sentence, you know, whether they're a respectful, whether they're remorseful, whether they're, you know, sincere, et cetera. I mean, and that translates over to anything else in life. And so, yeah, it ought to be taught in school, but these damn schools, you know, I mean, it's like, I guess you'd get in trouble if you made kids learn yes sir, no sir, and yes ma'am and no ma'am these days.
I don't understand why that's really such an issue. But if you ask a waitress, if you go to, I don't give a shit if you're in New York, if you're in Minneapolis, if wherever you're at, if you ask someone up north, a waitress, who says yes sir, no, or yes ma'am, no ma'am to you, it will be people from the South most of the time. And I don't understand why people up north don't want their kids to have manners. And I'm sure there are a bunch of them that do. And we're in the hunting business. Sure. So most of the people we see are like-minded, and they're going to use their manners. The best in the world is the people in the Southeast. And I'm not talking Texas. I'm talking about people from Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, Georgia. I don't know about Florida as much, but they call my wife Miss Michelle or Mr. Jeff. And I love that. I absolutely, when I hear a kid say that, it just makes my heart feel good because they have manners and respect.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. My children, any you know, woman in their life of you know, whether it's friend's mom, person at church, person at school, whatever, it's Miss, you know, XYZ, Miss X. I mean, that's just what it is, you know. I won't put up with any other thing. There are not many rules. We got, like I said, there were 2 rules. You be respectful and use your manners. And that's it. And if you think about that and you boil it down and you have respect for your fellow man and fellow woman, and you're respectful to them and you use your manners, I don't need to tell you what time to be home. I don't need to tell you what you shouldn't go do on Friday night. I don't need to tell you, because if you're respecting me as your elder, then you know what to do, right? Again, nobody's perfect. They slip up from every once in a while, but you know, I don't know. I tell you this: you keep doing what you're doing, your kids are going to be great, because they're going to be surrounded by people in your industry. You've got good people around them, right? I found that that's helped a lot as well with mine, and you know, even my daughter. Not to just sit here and talk about my son all day. My daughter, she's a damn trip. Like, we're going to see Morgan Wallen this weekend in Atlanta. It was canceled. It was her Christmas present last year, and it canceled in July. And I thought she was going to have a nervous breakdown, you know. So we're going this weekend. But I mean, you know, she's the same. She's the same. She's you know, 13 going on 23, but she is but she's a respectful 13 going on 23-year-old, you know.
My 9-year-old had the last couple of days off at school, and I took him hunting with me. And you know, he's getting to the age now where, like, he need, you know, people would come up and kind of talk to him, and you know, he's always been kind of shy at first, but it's like, you know, you need to break out of your bubble a little bit here, kid, and you need to figure out how to communicate with adults. Or with anybody. I mean, you know, he gets around his peers, and I don't think he shuts up at school, but you need to get used to talking to adults and people. And like you said, yes, sir, no, sir. And if somebody asks you a question, look them in the eye, tell them, you know, be clear with your speech. And because, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to, your life is only going to be as good as the relationships that you form. You know, I saw somebody say, you know, if you want more money, shake more hands. Because, you know, everybody has a resource. And if you can make a connection or some sort of friendship, that translates over into your business one day. And I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to have to communicate with people at the end of the day.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an ugly man and you live north, learn how to use manners and have a little southern drawl to you, and you won't have any problems picking up women. Because they don't ever hear that. It's kind of like a girl with an English accent. If a girl from an English accent goes to a bar in Georgia, every man around there wants to hear her talk, and they're attracted to that.
What 100%? Yeah.
So if you're an ugly dude in the South, go up north and you can find you a woman.
Take your
That's right.
manners.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Take your hat off when you introduce yourself to a lady. Because I think women in Texas fall for that cowboy bullshit right there.
Yeah, they do.
They take that old hat off. Ma'am, would you like to dance? And I was always leaving my hat on saying, yes, ma'am, would you like to dance?
I was just in Texas this past weekend, and man, it's and driving across. We driving and we stopped along the way, but so I was through Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and just interact even at the damn gas stations. It's like just different down here. I could never see myself leaving. And it is. I mean, it's a different mindset, and I don't know if that's because everybody down here, not to take anything away from up north. I mean, there was plenty of hard work going on down there, but man, there was some hard ass work when you're working down with mosquitoes and 110, 120 degrees. I don't care what it is. There's all the hard work drilled into people growing up that has created this culture. But anyway, that yeah, I wish mine were 9 still. I tell you that. I really do. That would be so cool.
Yeah, the next, you try. Somebody said that the days are long, but the years are short, and that's the truth. And I was trying to explain. He asked me about. That's what's funny is last night we were going to bed, and he asked me. He's like, "Dad, what does it mean?" I heard somebody say the days are long, but the years are short. He's like, "That doesn't make any sense in the world to me. For the years to be short, the days would have to be short." And I'm like, "Well, you'll get a little bit older, and you'll understand. Like, the days are long, but the years are short with them." And I mean, now here we are. We got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old somehow, and you look back at all the sleepless nights that you had, and so-and-so peed the bed, and it's like you got to fix that, and there's a lot of hiccups along the way, but it goes by in a hurry, and it definitely has.
And you're going to miss it when it's gone. I'm telling you right now.
Do you think Mom missed changing the pee in the bed?
Yeah, the other day, Andy's boys and one of our granddaughters spent the night with us, and I went to bed. I went to our oldest son's room. Michelle still names our rooms after the boys like they still live there. And one of our guest rooms, I went and slept in because we had 3 grandkids and Michelle. And so I went and slept in the room so I could get some sleep. And I had to be up about 6 to meet all the hunters out and stuff. And Michelle and them didn't have to. She was going to sleep in with the kids. And I hear a big corruption. I look at a bunch of noise and look at my phone. It's 1:38 in the morning. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, the grandkids used Michelle up anyways. I thought there is no way in hell she's letting them up at 1:30 and she's making something for them to eat in the kitchen. But I did not put that past her or them. And I opened the hallway at the front of the house, and my youngest grandson, or my middle grandson now, he's not the youngest one anymore, is sitting there Winnie the Pooh in it. All he's got on is a T-shirt, no underwear or nothing. And Michelle has a pair of white panties, girls' panties, and she's like, just wear them to sleep. I've got to wash yours. And he's like, no, call my mom. She goes, your mom is not going to come pick you up at 1:30 to put underwear on you. He had peed in the bed, so she had to strip everything down and wash everything. No, she probably doesn't miss that. But we were in the grocery store, and she was bawling the other night. And we just landed. We've been on vacation. We come back and we stop at the grocery store on the way home, and she's crying. I mean, tears running down her eyes. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? We're on the canned good aisle. There's nothing bad here. She goes, I'm going to make taco soup tomorrow because it's getting cold, and it just reminds me of when the boys were little. She goes, does that not just bother you? I said, that you're making taco soup? Or she goes, no, that the boys aren't. I said, yeah, there's a lot of things I miss. But I can think of a whole lot of shit I don't miss about them being little too.
Like changing the bed.
Well, yeah, 1:30 in the morning, a kid pissing on the bed with you, and you wake up with a sweaty back, and it's not sweat, it's piss. No, I don't miss that at all. But I think everyone misses their kids being small to a degree. as your kids get older, you get more freedoms because you don't have to watch out over them as much. You have to watch them, but you get that freedom. And I think that's the best thing about it. As your kids get older, you have more of your own personal freedoms. But I don't think we ever get over. I miss being daddy. Is the biggest. I miss being called daddy more than dad. Because daddy is all about love and hold me and let me hug you and love on you and daddy this and daddy that. Dad is usually followed by dad, can I have some money?
Oh, 100%.
So,
yes.
I miss being daddy a whole lot more than I do. Now my grandkids call me judge, and it's all about fucking money all the time. It don't matter what it is. It's always figuring out how to get some money out of me.
I still have daddy for my daughter. My son, he's graduated to dad. Yeah, so I know the dad comma and whatever's coming after the comma is expensive somehow or another.
Are you looking forward to this Morgan Wallen concert? There's gonna be a lot of people there, I bet.
Tell me,
are you looking forward to this Morgan Wallen concert?
You know, I am. I'm a fan. I think that he probably isn't my country music that I would just turn on the radio and listen to, right? Mine would have to go back a couple decades, but I think that he is one hell of an entertainer, right? I think he's masterful at his craft. And anybody that's a master of their craft, I'm just amazed at. You know, I watch all these crazy shows from time to time of just people doing cool ass shit that they're badass at, you know? But yeah, so I am looking forward to it. And again, it's the suspense of him canceling in the summer and then it being pushed all the way back to the fall. And the wait time has kind of created this sense of excitement for my daughter. And we're taking one of her friends. I mean, you know you're a good friend when somebody shells out for you to sit down go to the pit at Morgan Wallen. It's like, damn, I'm about to mortgage my house to do this. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I know some of the guys, not Morgan personally, but I know some of the folks that he works with in the industry, and I got a lot of relationships in Nashville. And of course, we've talked about this. I'm a music guy, so. And I've seen him several times, and it's man, it's theatric to say the least. And he's not lip syncing, right? And for you go out and you watch all these other artists. I don't go out and watch all these other artists. I do go. I love going to like small venues and seeing cool bands, etc. But any of this lip syncing bullshit, this pretend, like I can't do it, right? But that Morgan Wallen comes out and for 3 hours he gives it 110%. Yeah, it's insane. And his band, the musicians he surrounds himself with are fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Atlanta's not my favorite place in the world. No offense to anybody from Atlanta that's listening. It's just not my speed, to say the least. But it is. Believe it or not, I've not been to Truist Field. I've not been to see the new Brave Stadium. Love baseball and have not been there, so I'm not going to see it in a baseball atmosphere, but I'm going to get to see it obviously for the concert. And it is nice that it's in November as opposed to July, because I can only imagine what the temperatures in Atlanta would be mid-July. We hadn't had rain in fucking a month, and it's supposed to rain for the first time Saturday night. So
that'll be nice.
Could get interesting. Yeah, we got rain gear, man. We'll survive. So
if I had to make a choice to go see a concert with Morgan Wallen with 100,000, 85,000 drunk ass women, or go to a baseball game, boy, that'd be a tough choice for me. I don't know which one I would rather do. I'd rather get my head sewn to the carpet.
It was Morgan Wallen, wasn't it, that the ladies fought in the Porta-John? Wasn't that his concert?
Yes.
It was. And the crowd watching at his events are of all, it's very interesting to say the least, right?
I'm leaning
I'm with
towards,
you, Jeff.
I'm
a baseball man.
I'm leaning towards the concert then if you're going to see some chicks fighting. I would just camp out at the porta potties and watch them fight. I can't watch baseball. There's no way in hell I could go to a 9-inning baseball game. So I guess, did you say he plays for 3 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Son of a gun.
Oh, every bit of it. every bit of it, and his opening acts, he incorporates them so well. I saw him a couple of several times. I saw him before Hardy was with him, and you want to talk about a guy that's like has his own genre. And I'm a rock guy, you know, and man, he's another performer. Writes a lot of Morgan Wallen's music, and another gentleman, Ernest, and Ernest is actually opening up for him in Atlanta, so it'll be cool. But yeah, the Morgan Wallen atmosphere in November will probably be a little more comfortable and conducive for fun. But I'm a sucker for a baseball game, man. There's something about summer baseball that I love. I mean, it's that was my sport, so I don't know. I'd be torn. I guess in this situation, taking my daughter and one of her friends down, that's a no-brainer. But
I don't know how because his lifestyle is not conducive to a long career. He's gonna have to. I think he's gonna have to change something.
I think he's no different than any other musician. I mean,
you think so?
He ain't no different. No David Lee Roth or Axl Rose. Well, that's not two very good examples of guys that lasted very long. So maybe he needs to have more like Elton John's lifestyle, because Elton John's been around forever and he's one of the greatest ever. I'm gonna put
I think he just broke a million girls' hearts with that comment, Jeff, and I'll leave it at that.
I would honestly put Elton John as one of the top 5 musicians of all times. Not musicians, singers, entertainers, whatever. I mean, and
hell of a performer.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy, he plays the gay part so I mean, he was in Vegas and me and Michelle had tickets to see the Bitches Back concert. I mean, that guy, he's proud of who he is, but he's so talented. So talented. And so, I mean, I don't know. Most musicians are party. How many musicians do you know that aren't big time partiers?
Right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, I'm sure there's some of them out there. You know, Ted Nugent says he never took a drug in his life, but I find that hard to believe. But he has no reason to lie about it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I think more than the pressures of the substance and whatnot is the pressures of the being tugged on and pulled on from a million directions. I think that's something that if an artist or an entertainer can manage that and handle that, you know, it's their shelf life is a lot more. It's expanded than if not. But physically, I can tell you this. He goes out there for 3 hours and he performs like he probably sweats more than any damn shortstop or second baseman that's ever stepped foot in Truist Field. I can promise you that 100%.
Since you're a big rock fan, musician, who's the greatest rock frontman of all time in your mind?
Oh gosh, man, of all time. Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you this. In my generation growing up, I think the Black Crowes is the best rock band of my generation. Like, I personally think that from a band standpoint. Now, is Chris Robinson the best frontman? I don't know about that because he's got a lot of help behind him. But, you know, from a performance standpoint of what I've seen, and I've seen a bunch, I mean – I don't agree on a lot of his views, but Eddie Vedder's a badass. Like, he's a badass, and he can get up in front of people and do it, you know. And he's had, I mean, clearly they've had longevity as well as he has. Man, that's such a hard question because I love so much music. I hate to alienate anybody. I mean, David Lee Roth, the guy was a machine, right? I mean, who can jump up and do splits and not lose a beat and stay in tune?
That's my vote.
That's athletic as hell, you know?
That's my vote. I like Van Halen. I liked him with Sammy, and I liked him with David Lee Roth. I like Axl Rose as a front guy. There's been a lot of them. They got Poison. I know everybody always wants to trash Poison, but Bret Michaels, they were damn good when they were doing that little 5 or 6 year window they had. But I think David Lee Roth,
100.
when he was with Van Halen, was the best front man, and would talk about putting on a fucking show. I mean, he flat got after it.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys. I mean, Eddie Van Halen's one of my guitar heroes. Like, and it's so cliche, right? But he is. Like, the other night we were flipping through something. Or it was when we were traveling. We were trying to listen to stuff and find stuff on YouTube to play through the thing, and we pulled up Eddie's version of Eruption. I can't remember where it was at. It was at like Wembley Stadium or somewhere. And I mean, he does this like 20-minute version of Eruption where it's just him playing on the guitar, and like that stuff geeks me out.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to somebody who is a master of their craft, and like I aspire to be. One of my greatest claim to fame is Popular Mechanics did this feature one time on makers, right? And there was a whole 6 or 7 page article, and there were a bunch of different people in there. Great, fabulous, like people making badass shit, like way above knives and stuff like that. But there were 2 dudes in there that had full pictures side by side. One was Eddie Van Halen and his guitars, and one was me and my knives. And I was like, I have made it. This is the pinnacle of my career. I'm done. I'm out. This is it, man.
Did you ever see Bob Seger perform?
I have not seen Bob Seger. Big fan. I've not seen him. I would say he's in there too, for sure.
I love his voice. I don't know. Did you ever see him perform?
No, but I would like to. And he's one on my bucket list of guys. And I think he finally
Need to
retired.
hurry.
Well, he was doing some casino deals last year. Me and Michelle were we were gonna go to Wisconsin or somewhere and see him. And something happened, we didn't go. But he's on my list. He's damn good.
Talk about an iconic voice. Like any Bob Seger song comes on, and as soon as he starts singing, it's Bob Seger.
100%. I mean, he's like Robert Earl Keen, who's a friend and a client friend, etc. of mine. First note, you know exactly who it is. Like, and there's a handful of those kind of people over time that you hear. Elton John's one. Yep. One note, and it's him, right?
Joe Cocker.
Oh man, yeah, fabulous musician. Talk about somebody maybe didn't quite handle things.
Boy, he was a badass though. Wow.
He was a badass. There's no question about that. 100%. That guy could do it. And yeah, man, there's a ton. I mean, I start thinking back about some of the Southern bands. The Allman Brothers, man. I mean, and the Allman Brothers themselves inside the band, both just fabulous performers. There's so many. I mean, Metallica. I love Metallica.
Yeah.
If there's some blue in my day, put a little Metallica on, it's gone, man. It's out the window. Love those guys. Seen them several times, and they're unbelievable.
I don't know if they're making rounds again, but for whatever reason this summer, my Facebook feed was flooded with Metallica. It was him in the backstage getting ready to perform.
I think they played like a series of shows at one venue. I think it might have been out at the Staples Center somewhere this past year. I saw that as well and was thinking, holy shit, man, that would be killer to go see.
Isn't it amazing, though, that the old bands can go and fill up big stadiums and stuff, and there's very few young guys that can do it anymore? And I'm sure, like Morgan Wallen, he can fill up a big arena. Mm-hmm. Kenny Chesney can fill up a big arena. And there are young guys out there. And Kenny Chesney's not young. Hell, he's 60 years old almost. But there are very few people to take over when these guys, like, if David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar got together with the Van Halen guys, and they can't, Eddie's dead now, and said, hey, let's go, and Wolfie's going to come play for us, they could go on a big tour, and they could fill up 10 arenas somewhere with people that would want to go. Be a bunch of old geriatric fuckers in the stands, but they could do it. And the young the young guys,
and it would sound good. Yeah, it would. It would sound good.
And the young guys can. The Crows. You talked about the Black Crows. That song, "She Talks to Angels," one of the best rock and roll songs of all time.
Definitely. I mean, I think we talked about this on the last podcast too. We were talking about iconic songs, and somebody mentioned Hootie and the Blowfish, and Darius Rucker. And I just saw yesterday where they're going on a summer stadium type tour, and tickets go on sale. They're playing Fenway and like Wrigley, and I was thinking, holy shit, if those guys can go out there and do that, man, that you talk about some longevity. And great South Carolina guys, those guys are awesome.
And they're going to Fenway?
Guys. Yeah,
when they're going to
play Fenway.
I'm going to look that up I wonder who's going to be with them. I wonder who they're touring with.
So it's Edwin McCain and Collective
Oh,
Soul,
Lord.
and it's that whole genre of bare naked ladies. It's that whole group of like bands from that era. You know, I was in college at that time, so I'm thinking, man, this is badass. You know, I'd love to go see them.
That genre, that era of music was like when I got into music. That was like my junior high formative years, 12, 13, 14 years old. That was what I grew up with. So like for like when you guys talk about the 80s, Hootie and the Blowfish was it for me. That era of music, which I would argue is the last great era of music.
Well, it's not today's music for sure.
The last great era of music played with real, actual musical instruments. Yes. You know, I mean, again, that's one thing about this Morgan Wallen concert this weekend. You know, there'll be some electronics and there'll be some stuff like that. But he has some of the best musicians that I've ever seen. I mean, his guitarists, his drummers, his all his backup guys. I mean, his steel guitar guys. I mean, it's like he has musicians playing real musical instruments and not fucking computers. Right. Like, drives me insane.
Yeah.
Drives me absolutely insane.
Are you on the Zach Bryan bandwagon?
I like his music, and just saw him at Rock the South this summer for the first time. That's the first time I've seen him. A great musician. Probably not who I go straight to, but he's certainly a fabulous songwriter. Clearly, he's doing something right. And I wouldn't say, again, he was awesome live. He sounded. I'll give him he sounded as good live as he does on his recordings, and that to me is important in the music. You know, you go see some of these people, and you're like, how in the hell did they record that? You know, it's like they don't sound anything like that.
Yeah.
But he did not. He was really good.
I was talking to somebody the other day. They were a big vinyl collector, and they had just gotten the Zach Bryan. Maybe it was Red Rock. I can't remember which one it was, but they were so excited. They had seen it deliver on the Ring Video doorbell, so they were so excited to get back home and jam out to vinyl Zach Bryan. I can't remember what album it was though.
So new artists are putting out vinyl now?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
It's and they're expensive as hell.
Really?
It's I guess it's really, if you think about it, they don't sell CDs anymore and don't sell. It's a money making type thing, and I collect vinyl. It's funny you say that about that. I picked up a used copy, but a really mint copy of Traffic's Low Spark of High Heeled Boys. Yeah, like 2 weekends ago up in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I found it and I was like, holy shit, man! This I can't believe I found this thing. But yeah, that the new music and artists I think are putting a lot of emphasis on using that vinyl as a way to get people back into the old record stores, right? And get people. There's a really cool one in Birmingham, Alabama, called Seasick Records. Is awesome. I mean, you go in there and like they have everything from the oldest of old to the newest of new, and I can spend hours in there flipping through and looking at all that stuff.
Yeah, it was. I just looked it up. It's a Summertime Blues vinyl from Zach Bryan, but they had just got it delivered and they were basically ready to go home. Just quit everything. Just get me to the house so that I can jam out to Zach Bryan. That's crazy. But like when you think about it, like, yeah, CD sales are in the toilet. Nobody buys that. But like people are going way back to get vinyl if they're going to get anything.
Yeah, I mean it's and the I'm looking. I'm here at my office. I'm looking over and I have a vinyl. I have it's a new turntable, but I have these killer like walnut, handmade speakers that send sound through off of it, and it's amazing. It's a bad habit from an expense standpoint. So unless you. It's just kind of like turkey hunting. I tell people, like, unless you want to do it all the time, don't start. but yeah, it's amazing that they can make new technology that makes the album still sound old.
Do you,
Right.
did you grow up? How old are you?
Oh man, I'm so old. I quit counting. No, I'm 49.
Okay, you're 6 years younger than me. Do you remember record stores then?
I do, and the reason I do is because my father, who his main profession is insurance, about to retire this year. Dad, if you're listening to it, man, I hope you have a lot of fun after this. But he was a musician. My grandfather was a musician. My dad always played in bands. My grandfather always played in bands. My grandfather was an old country music guy, played the stand-up bass, was a hell of a singer, could play guitar, could play anything with strings. My dad's kind of the same way, lead singer type thing. And so, but he has you want to talk about somebody that has an addiction to vinyl, that guy's gonna need, like, if he he was talking about downsizing. I was thinking, where are you gonna put all the damn 45s you've got? And we've got several old jukebox that we've restored that's got killer old music. And Bob Seger's in the one in our place at the lake, and it's man, that's one you cut that old. I'm trying to think of which one is at the lake, but which jukebox, because there's one there and there's one in Columbia. But man, it just, something about it just sounds good. So yes, growing up as a child, I probably was kicking and screaming, but I can remember my dad taking me to record stores. There was one in particular in Charlotte, North Carolina. I remember going up these steps, and it was upstairs, and he would spend all damn day up there. And I was like, I was probably out playing in the street in downtown Charlotte. Who knows what I was doing? But I think that some of that rubbed off on me, and now it's funny when I'm with somebody and a song will come on, an old song, and it's like, I know the words. You're like, how the hell do you know the words of this song? It's like, I don't know. I listen to music all the time as a young man, whether I wanted to or not.
Because I remember going to record stores, and I remember when it was, you either got records or you got cassettes. And then I remember when you didn't see as many albums, and it was cassettes or CDs, and then it was just CDs. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy. And now we're going back to records again. We'll never deal with cassettes and CDs ever again. But I think, the records are going to be back. They're going to be here forever. And I just,
Jeff, I stood in line at a record store when waiting overnight when Use Your Illusion came out.
Great. That's a great one to buy.
Yes, it was the double. I think I was like sixth in line, and it was like a 2 or 3 disc minimum or maximum you could buy, and this little store only had a handful. And luckily, I was able to get both of them. But I literally stood in line for those things. Nobody does that anymore.
No. What was your favorite song on that album?
Oh my gosh!
That was one with November Rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, November Rain, or
I mean,
I like Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War is hit hard. I mean, that's a good one. Funny story about Guns N' Roses. When I was in high school, I went to see, or maybe I was junior high. I was young. Somebody had to take me, but I went to go see Motley Crue, and this little unknown band was opening up for them. This was at the Coliseum in Columbia, South Carolina. And they came out, and it was damn Guns N' Roses. And they killed it. And that was back when they were like straight out of the Troubadour and just, wild as the day is long. Flash forward a few years, and I saw them. I saw Metallica open for them at Williams-Brice Stadium, the South Carolina stadium, and Metallica kicked their ass that night. But I think that 6 or 7 year stretch has taken its toll on Guns N' Roses. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I could talk about music all day. I know that isn't what this is all about, but
no, it's talking.
I'm in my head.
We talk about all kinds of stuff. I saw Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses at a frat party before they were anybody's. Did not know who they were, except this little crack-headed looking skinny fucker with long hair could sing and could belt it.
Could sing.
And
yeah,
he sang "Welcome to the Jungle." They sang a bunch of other people's stuff, and they sang theirs. He sang "Welcome to the Jungle." And about 3 to 6 months later, I was working, and I'm in a delivery truck at a furniture store I work for, and Welcome to the Jungle came on the radio. And I go, that's that song that little skinny bastard was singing. And that was them at a frat party. But what a voice and a show. But when he was on stage singing, it was better than anything else there by far. I mean, you just could tell they had no business playing at a frat party. But
yeah, those guys, you talk about energy, man. Those guys had it.
Did you see him play November Rain at
Lisa Marie's
funeral?
I have not. I need to check that out.
Skip it.
It's embarrassing.
It's bad.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
It's him and a piano, and God bless him.
I could have done a good job, and I couldn't carry a tune in a suitcase. It's terrible.
It was bad. Bad.
When he played at Williams-Brice Stadium, when they played there that year, I think November Rain was the opener of their encore set. And he rode out on a damn Harley on stage towards this piano. All of a sudden, this bright light shines down on the grand piano, and it's dark, and you can hear this motorcycle. The light hits Axel, and he's driving over, and he gets over to the piano, and he stands up off the motorcycle and, throws the kickstand down, and he's going to step on the bench. And when he did, the damn motorcycle laid on its side. And it was like the crowd went crazy. It was like, the biggest mistake that turned into the coolest thing ever. But he killed it that night. I mean, that was probably the one real highlight from them.
A guy that I know, there's a lady in his town. She's a little bit older than he is. The guy's my age. Lady's in her 50s probably now. She was at a Motley Crue concert, and Vince Neil picked her out of a crowd, and she was on the tour bus with him for a couple months. They got tired of her, I guess, and they just dropped her off at a bus. Or no. They went inside a convenience store, and when she came out, the tour bus was gone.
Did we just hear this story recently? Because
yes, I can't tell you who it is because he lives in a small town. But
somebody was telling us this story in our office the other day.
Yeah.
Because I heard this story too. I was trying to think. I think I know who.
Yeah. So picked her out of a crowd, brought her backstage, said, "Hey,
I know who it is now.
You want to ride with us for a couple of months? You want to ride with us?" Didn't tell her how long, and I guess she met her expiration date and came back outside from the convenience store, and tour bus was gone. She had to call her family to come get her.
I guess she had a different experience than Courtney Cox did with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor girl. I had a neighbor girl that lived down the street from us. That was pretty good looking. She was older than me. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so this would have been probably around 1982, 83. When did Rat come around? Probably 82 or 83.
Right.
Probably 82 or 83, and so I was 14 years old, and she was probably 22 or 23. She was that hot chick that lived down the street that wore the parachute pants and the high heels and had her hair all fluffed up and teased all the little boys, would wear the little bikini like Phoebe Cates on Fast Times. Anyways, she went to a Rat concert, and they tossed her around the bus a couple of times. That was her claim to fame.
Oh, really?
She was proud of it.
Oh, she wore proudly.
So she was a proud moment of her. She'd slept with whoever the Rat lead singer was.
Oh.
And probably the bus driver and everybody else in the deal.
I guess. Hard life.
She lost a high heel in the parking lot.
Oh.
All the older boys would talk about it all the time, and so I would get in on the conversation a lot and listen to her about her. I wonder whatever happened to her life.
Oh man, that's a damn trip. One of my biggest heroes in that era was a fellow I played baseball with, and but he could play the drums as well, and I can remember going to his house and him going over and over and over again on Rat. I mean, it was like until he had it perfected. I mean, God, I hadn't heard that name in ages. This afternoon is dedicated to Rat.
Round and round.
Round and round.
Great tune.
Tommy Lee recently did an interview, and he said he would drink 2 gallons of vodka a day. I don't know how that's possible, because I know how hard it is just to drink 1 gallon of water in a day. I don't know how you can drink 2 gallons of vodka. He says it's true.
That I saw that too, and I think I saw it in an article or something it was talking about, and they were saying the same thing. It's like that much liquid in a day in and of itself, when you're not exercising or doing anything, is can put you into some kind of ketosis. Right. I don't know what the hell the big word is, but I was like, vodka? Like, seriously? No wonder they torching hotel rooms and tearing down cities.
Mad Russians, basically, is all that you are at that point if you drink that much vodka.
He looks better than anybody else in that band just about does, though, still.
Yeah.
No, Nikki Sixx does still, though. He looks, Slash. I saw Slash the other day. Slash looks like he's in pretty good shape still.
Well, he's got the hair.
Slash is still playing some music. And who was it that I saw? He was producing some stuff as well. And I saw, and it was not anybody in the hard rock genre. And I saw that Slash was a producer, and I was thinking, yeah, that's pretty cool. Guys, I'm another great guitar player,
Yes.
right? Fabulous guitar player. Like I can take the cigarette in the damn tuning area of the guitar, on the end of the neck. Like I wasn't a smoker, but damn, I play guitar. I'm not gonna lie, I did try to recreate that a couple times.
He was a great musician. There's no doubt about it. Well, another thing that shocks me about the music industry is how does somebody like Willie Nelson ever make it? The guy's a terrible singer. Nobody wants to
Terrible
say bad
singer,
about Willie because he's
never on
100.
time. Like always, his timing is all. I think he has his own timing, right? It's like, and it's never in sync with the band, and I think that's what's made him so iconic. That and just his badass lifestyle, right? But yeah, not a great singer at all.
No, and he's
Terrible singer.
Is he 90 years old now?
Got to be close.
190
yeah.
at least.
I mean, he was an old fucker when I was a kid, and I'm 55.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely, but he's still out there doing it. Like he's still out there. This summer, I saw that he was out on the road and had, Chris Stapleton and a big stable of folks playing with him. And I was thinking, now there's a guy that I think if he stopped playing, we would lose him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I listened to
I really
Willie's
did.
Roadhouse on Sirius, I think's name, and his daughter is a DJ on there. His daughter's got that old cough, that old smoker's cough, and she's 87 years old herself, I think. But she's one of the DJs on there, and it's funny to listen to her talk stories about her dad and all his old friends that are dead. Because I was a big Waylon Jennings fan. I like Waylon a whole lot more than Willie.
Oh man, love Waylon. Yeah, love Waylon. Love Merle Haggard. Man, that Chris Christopherson, that whole crew.
That's another guy that can't sing though.
Can't sing, but played the hell out of a guitar and really helped the Horsemen keep it all together.
Maybe the smartest guy to ever play a guitar because he was a Rhodes Scholar.
Was he?
Yeah, Chris Christopherson was.
I didn't know that.
Yep. But he's a terrible singer.
Which one was born in Littlefield? Was that Waylon?
I think Waylon was. Buddy Holly's, they're all from around the Lubbock area.
Panhandle of Texas.
That's a guy right there that would have been, I'm not going to say he would have been bigger than Elvis, but he was on his way to being huge star of all time if he wouldn't have been killed.
Yes, his trajectory was definitely on the same track, if not on more of a upwards thing. I mean, just a shame. Like you think about some of the people that made such iconic music and art that in such a short window and then we're gone, right? I mean, and it always seems like plane crashes, Damn.
That
but,
choking on your vomit.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh.
Would you have liked to have gone to like Woodstock 69, or is that not really your cup of tea? That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I'm not a traffic guy. As I tell you, I'm going to Atlanta to see Morgan Wallen. I'm not a traffic guy, but it's one of those things. I guess it's having the hindsight of it, right? 100%, I would say yes, just for the experience. Correct. Would it if it was me back then at the time, would I have? Probably, with my mindset now, probably would say no. I'll just wait till it comes out on damn record one day or something. Tapes come out, But man, there was some iconic music made there. If I want to talk about Joe Cocker, good Lord, I mean, killing.
But they didn't expect it to be that big, did they?
No.
I watched a documentary the other day on it was like the Woodstock recreation thing. Have y'all seen that? Yeah, where they just people fucking destroyed the whole place. It's like that in and of itself, it shows exactly what's wrong with our world. You know, I mean, exactly what's wrong.
I watched.
Well, one of the. Few
I saw a video the other day of a concert somewhere, and I did not know who the hell it was, but I couldn't turn it off. But this the singer was telling everybody to get to the left and get to the right. They cleared out this big hole like for a mosh pit. And he's like, "Go kill your guys over there." And they take a run and they just hit each other, knocking the shit out of each other. And I was thinking, what kind of fucking idiot pays money to go get the shit beat out of him by some other idiot? And I thought, you could have put Elvis Presley in Central Park in 1963, and you could have brought 1 million people in there, and there would have been any incidents at all, probably nothing big. You can't put 300 idiots together today without some bitch wanting to stab, shoot each other, or having to do. It just society has derailed. It's terrible. But people enjoy this. All this new music today. I don't know. I like music, but I like old music. There is very few new things that I like that comes out. There are very few. And I listen to this.
We can tell you're an old curmudgeon.
I am an old curmudgeon. What is this new music that's just all it's pure, just hard, heavy shit? What do they call it?
That's been around forever.
What do they call that shit, though?
Metal?
It's terrible. Like, Nirvana was good. This shit they have today is terrible.
I'm sure your dad said the exact same thing about Metallica. Or Guns N' Roses.
Now, he used to bitch about me listening to Van Halen all the time because
this shit ain't music.
No, he'd tell me Roy Clark was a better guitar player than Eddie Van Halen. We'd have arguments about that all the time. But my dad was right on one thing. He told me Garth Brooks was garbage, and by God, by his third album, he was garbage. Dad was just ahead of his time on that.
Agree to disagree.
Garth's first 2 albums were great.
We're just gonna agree to disagree.
What's on his third album that's good?
I don't even know what his third album is.
Exactly. That's my point, because it sucked. His first 2 albums, he was Garth Brooks. By his third, he was that fucking alternative person he thought he was. And he was going on Oprah wearing fucking pajamas and crying. That's not a country music artist.
Okay.
I mean, there's some pretend, and I saw Garth at the Ryman a couple years back. Somebody got me a ticket last minute, went up and saw him, and had no idea what it was. Just going to be him acoustic, right? And turned out to be a great show. Trisha Yearwood came out, sang with him a little bit at the end, but he went back. He didn't play. We played a lot of his songs, portions of them, but he actually went back and played a lot of music that influenced him. Bob Seger being one of them. And that was good. And then I also saw him in Birmingham, Alabama, when he was the first concert in the new stadium in Birmingham, UAB's new stadium they built for the World Games, and he was good too. He's a performer, but from a what's cut and what's recorded on well, not records or tapes anymore, but on the damn digital computers, whatever. You're right. I mean, he kind of used up all his good ones on the first couple ones. I'm
looking at the third album.
Okay, what is it?
Rodeo, What She's Doing Now, Papa Love Mama, Shameless, The River.
Okay, Shameless is probably the only one of them songs worth of shit.
You didn't like Rodeo?
No, it's some cheesy ass fucking song. No.
What She's Doing Now, Papa Love Mama?
What She's Doing Now, she left his goofy ass because he went with Trish Yearwood, so no. His second album was really good.
Yeah, definitely.
But and so was his first one.
First one was good.
First one was excellent. Second one was good.
He had a
he
had a badass song with Chris Ledoux. I can't remember which one that was on. I don't know if he put it out on his album or if Chris Ledoux put it out on his. But that was probably one of my favorite Garth songs.
Ooh, I'll have to look that up. It's not the one. It's not the Much Too Young, is it? Much Too Young, Feel This Damn Old.
No, it's kind of a fast paced. It's an old country, timing song.
Okay.
But that's when he was country.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do with a cowboy is kind of the hook. I don't know what the name of it is.
This cowboy, that's exactly. His first 2 albums were good. That was good Texas rodeo music. It was good shit. Then he become Hollywood and put on silk pajamas and went on Oprah, and I didn't have no use for his ass after that shit. And then who the fuck comes up with another name to be somebody else? His alternative person or whatever it is.
Colin Baton Rouge was on his 6th album.
That might be his best song ever. So he probably wrote that song on his first or second album and waited till the 6th to do it.
That makes
Colin Baton Rouge is a great song.
Makes perfect sense.
But
Jeff.
So you're telling me you think that Garth Brooks' 3rd, 4th, and 5th album were better than his first 2?
I didn't say that at all.
I'm asking you.
I'm just saying you said that they were all garbage and they have got.
Okay, so he had one good song in his last 27 years of singing. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So tell me, we're gonna switch now before I bitch slap Jeff over here. You've got a new knife to your collection since the last time we talked. The Glide folder, that wasn't out yet, was it? When we talked last.
So the bigger version was, and we made a smaller, more compact one that is quickly becoming our best seller. I mean, it really is probably the best knife to ride along in your pocket from a weight standpoint. Does not have the flipping mechanism, but it is assisted, so it's pretty quick opening. Good knife, real good knife. I have to get you boys some. Let you try them out.
Why is that becoming your best seller? Just because it's more compact and people like it in their pocket more?
I think that I think there's a combination of maybe people. There is a big faction that every ounce counts, right? And but there's also a group I think that wants something new. Wants to try out something new. I don't know. It's a great knife. I love it. I love the lines on it. It's an interesting knife, and it's something that we worked hard on to try to make the first thing to fail on a folding knife is the pocket clip.
Oh, really?
If used for its intended purpose, right? If it's not you're not using it as a pry bar or some bullshit like that, right? The first thing that's going to fail on a folding knife is the pocket clip, because think about it, it's being used really more than the knife is. Honestly, it's in and out of your pocket every day, right? And so the way we designed it, the clip actually comes up and it makes a 90 degree and then makes another 90 degree, and then the back side of it is actually embedded into the frame of the knife on the opposite side. For you to break that damn thing, you're going to be hanging upside down on a fence or something like that. You're going to be in trouble before it breaks.
I'm looking at it now. I'm trying to get to the picture of the backside. Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. Right.
Yeah. So it's screwed from both sides. Mating screws from both sides. So it's pocket knives is hard. It's hard because, well, first off, using natural material on folding knives, that's a thing in the past. It moves too much, and over time, it doesn't have any longevity. Now, if you're going to put it up in your safe or put it somewhere like that, the old cases and the old stuff like that had bone handles and et cetera, great. But so it's all synthetic material on folding knives for the doers, right? And the problem is, on the frame of that, the synthetic's great for every single functionality of it, except for holding threads. So when you're threading it and then threading into the metal frame of the knife itself, there's only a little portion of that metal that's catching those tiny screws. And ultimately, if you use it and you pull it in and out and in and out and in and out, now we like to hope that ours hold up longer than the others, but you're gonna loosen those things out, and you're gonna screw those threads up. So because of the material. The way this is designed, it's going through and it's got a damn male and female locking bolts, for lack of better terms, but they're teeny coming together, holding it in. So like I said, if it's in your pocket and people all the time will not my knives necessarily. I mean, we have had some, but I hear it, and I broke other brands' knives before. Catching them on fences is like classic, right? Or catching it, getting in a all-terrain vehicle or something like that, and bending the clip. You catch this one on something, it's going to either rip your damn pocket off or it's going to flip you upside down on a barbed wire fence. So it's not going to break. It's an interesting design. It kind of looks funky at first, and it's super tight when you first get it. But once you use it a couple times, it's unique, and it's those little things like that, right? That has, when somebody thinks about a knife, that's probably the last damn thing they think about. Clip. That's the first thing I think about. It's like, not the first thing, but one of the first things, because I want it to be in your pocket all the time. If the damn clip's not on it, or if it gets loose and it doesn't feel comfortable, you feel like you're going to lose it, you're not going to carry it. So the cutting edge is, then it's out the window already anyway. So that, and then the locking mechanism on it, that's the old McHenry Williams design that Benchmade had leased the patent from them for years and years and years, and the patent finally expired. And so you hear all these knife nuts, and it's like, oh, all these brands are stealing the design, stealing the lock, blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, shit, it's one of the safest locking mechanisms on a knife. On ours, you actually have to have both fingers on either side to make it disengage for the blade to close. So you're not going to slip with one finger on the side and make it close, etc. And so being able to transition that into a product, it's a tried and true, very like safe mechanism. It's those little details that start coming together in this tiny little tool, right? That I think makes the Glide super cool.
Somebody had a knife the other day, and it was one of those, what do they call it? It shoots out the front. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
You're going to have forward something? I was like,
a switchblade?
No, it wasn't a switchblade.
They call them out. I mean, they literally, the term that I always hear them call is out the front.
Yeah.
OTS,
and I was like,
and
you're trusting that locking mechanism a lot, putting that thing in your pocket.
You are 100%. That, and the fact that there's a ton of states that you can't sell those in. And so we don't even fool with them, because why make a product that half your market? And again, the safety functionality of those things, they're a cool novelty. If you want to keep one in your vehicle for a get out of jail free card quick kind of thing. But I mean, it's no faster than that flipper if you carry it. I can promise you that. I mean, that flipper with the bearings on either side is just as fast as that out the front, and it ain't gonna pop open in your damn pants and cut your femoral artery.
I was he was sitting down and everything. I was like, if that thing somehow were to disengage, like that's going right into your femoral artery.
Yeah.
You're gonna bleed out right here. I'm not even know what happened, because the time you tell me what happened, it's done.
In a hurry, yes.
So, but that's just crazy that to me, I'm looking at your knives now, and I see all of these other things, and then you're like, no, that damn locking mechanism and the pocket clip are what I had to figure out.
Well, again, it's all the little things that make you want to carry it, right? Again, it can be the best cutting tool out there, but if it doesn't feel comfortable, if it doesn't stay put, if it doesn't not break, if it doesn't stay locked, if it doesn't do all these other tasks, then the cutting part of it doesn't matter. Now, when it does achieve all those other tasks and you get to the cutting part of that knife with that M390 steel, man, that stuff is the wonder drug for the knife business. I mean, that is some serious business right there. That stuff maintains an edge and is easy to reestablish if you should nick it or do anything like that. But you hear all this new stuff about all these, MagnaCut and all these crazy, other steels out there. But man, the M390 is badass.
Now, is that something
badass?
Is that something that's is that newer, or is that just kind of an old favorite from a lot of people?
No, so it isn't. When I say new, it's not last week new, but it's in the last couple of years new. It was designed by Sandvik, which is a big steel manufacturer, Swedish company that designs steel. They have the chemist guys in there that know the molecular components to put together to make super steels. I guess you would say. That's what it is, super steel. It's like MagnaCut, LMAX, any of those. And the super steel basically is something that's going to be sharp, have the sharpness characteristics of a carbon knife, have the corrosion resistance characteristics of a stainless steel knife, and then combine those two together where you can, stainless steel knife is great, it doesn't corrode, etc., but they don't hold an edge very long, and it's hard as hell to get an edge back on them. A carbon knife is going to corrode, it's going to patina, easy to reestablish an edge, can get them sharp as hell. And so they've, over the years, there's been definitely the CPM 154 that's in that flipper. That was the M390, 5 years ago, kind of thing. So it's just like anything, they're making something better and greater. And in that Glide, that thing's a workhorse, big time.
What did they make knives out of a long time ago? like cowboys and Indians type thing? Was it all just what was it? What they made arrowheads out of?
Obsidian was the sharpest, but just rocks. I mean, different kinds of rocks. Wasn't obsidian
Yeah,
is the sharpest?
flint. Yeah, and then flint for their tools, for their arrows and cutting tools and hand tools. I was out in Texas shortly after we talked, I believe, and in the hill country, we found this cool, like, kind of, it almost like steps on the mountainside, and all around it was all this flint. We found a couple of arrowheads, but we found more like hand tools, right? You could see where they carved where they could hold it in their hand and use it as a cutting tool, whether it was on hides, etc. But the interesting thing is Damascus, which is such a pretty steel, right? I mean, and there's Damascus is a big name. That's like saying cheeseburger, right? There's a whole lot of different kinds of cheeseburgers, but it's kind of the big name, and you can put a lot of different components together to create Damascus. But Damascus was it was a product of functionality and resource availability at the time. When Damascus came around in Damascus, they were gathering different ores and combining them together to try to make a sword that would be both sharp and hard and last, So, and it just happened to have the swirls and the different colors and whatnot that the different molecular components of the steel ore created, right? I'm not a chemist, so excuse me if my vernacular is a little bit off, but that's the Damascus for Dummies version of it. It went away for a long time. People thought it was crap. That everybody had to have just pure strain steel and as molecularly consistent across the board from the heat, so you could heat treat it properly, et cetera, et cetera. But now, it's had such a comeback, and technology certainly advanced it. And, I love it. I wish I had more time to make more stuff with it and do it. But, I think we talked a little bit about this the first time I was on with you. The goal of my company is to make products that you can go out and use, right. I don't want them to be sitting on your shelves. I don't want you, and there are people that do that, but like, you don't need to spend money on something that you're just going to put away. Like, at least that's just how I feel. When I buy stuff, I use it. I use it hard, man. And that's what I want our products to do and to stand up to the test of it. And so, using all those little things I was talking about the folder, that creates longevity, creates the ability for you to go out and beat the shit out of it. And we'll talk 10 years from now, and if you used it for the task that it's intended for, it should be riding right along with you, man.
So you have no interest in like making like a bone knife collection or anything like that, where it would be like a shelf product?
I've made plenty. That's where I got my start, right? I didn't have the big capabilities to do big production type stuff, and especially with the G10, the synthetic material, because it's such a pain in the ass from a pollutant standpoint, containing that dust and all that. I didn't have the capabilities doing that. I had a fucking carport and a little teeny little thing, and I didn't even know you're supposed to wear a dust mask until about a year into it. So who knows what my longevity is, I may be worse than the 2 gallons of vodka. Who knows? But I enjoy those projects, and I do from time to time. Post Christmas, I have some opportunity to do some of those things, and I have some really great customers that I've done projects for over the years. Have some events that I do some things for that are real high end materials. I've got a gentleman whose dad passed away. Actually, dad and mother passed away in this same year. And the other day, he brought me a deer antler that his mother had harvested with him, had gone out and shot, and he brought the handle from his dad's big green egg to me. The wood, and I was like, damn, man, this is going to be badass, I mean, and it's just a cypress piece of wood, that was on this big green egg, but it has a lot of meaning to him. And so I'm going to make him some knives for he and his brother to out of this material. And that kind of geeks me out a little bit.
Now, is that kind of like a layup to you? Because I would just be like, oh, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck up the big green egg handle.
It will be handled with care for sure. And I'll study it before it sees any machinery to make sure we get it right. It's funny you say that. I had a guy. This has been, I bet this has been 8 or 9 years ago. Called me and a good customer, and I'd made some high end stuff for him before, and he's a world traveler, adventurer kind of guy, and he said, "You think you could inlay an elk ivory in a handle for me?" And me being dumb and naive and like didn't want to lose his business. Oh, sure, hell yeah, I'll figure that shit out. Well, that's complicated. Let me tell you, that's complicated to inlay it and maintain the integrity. It took me a long time to get it, but I ultimately did, and it's really beautiful. It's right at the butt of the knife on each side, each ivory, and really cool. But yeah, that one, there was some sleepless nights. That and I also inlaid a young man from Charlotte, North Carolina, his grandfather's dog tag into a handle of a knife. And man, that might have been my most nerve-wracking type thing, because like even when I was trying to buff the knife out at the end to get it, pretty and shiny and all, I didn't want it to take any of that patina off of that old dog tag. And so layup is, there's some layups, but there's some damn half court shots too. I can promise you.
Was the dog tag durable? I mean, it obviously you made something out of it, but I mean, was it ever in jeopardy of like breaking or anything, or being brittle?
It was very pliable, believe it or not. Which is I told him, I said, I need you to send it to me, and I mean, it was so precious to him that he didn't send. We met like an hour and a half drive both ways and met, and he handed it to me, right? And he would check on that damn thing like every week, but it was very pliable. I don't know, I guess a tin, or it felt, I don't know if it was aluminum or tin or what they made them out of then, but it would bend. And I asked him before I did it, I said, can I put some contour into this thing so I can put it into the roundness of the handle? And he said, sure. And so, man, that was nerve wracking. That's some shit.
Yeah,
you
like you can go buy a new big green egg handle and fake it. You know?
Yeah.
You go find your deer antler. Yeah, that's the same one. I promise. A dog tag.
Yeah,
that's tough. Have you seen?
No faking. No faking.
Have you seen the
tags.
knife that? Is it Billy Gibbs? One of the guys from ZZ Top's a big knife collector, and a guy made him a knife out of an old ski lift, the cables from a ski lift at Albuquerque, and made him a knife or something out of that, and it was pretty interesting.
That is cool. Yeah, I've not seen that one, but I've seen some stuff that people have done with metal from interesting places. Another really cool one, and this that I did. This is again on the handle side of things, but a gentleman. Gosh, I'm trying to remember how old he was. He was elder and on up there, but he was having his, 100th. It wasn't 100th, but something like that. Kind of guys get together with his old naval buddies, and he sent me one of his old dress blues, and we cut it down and made old linen, like the old linen micarta that used to be kind of the staple for knife handles. We made that from his, old dress blue uniform. And then he presented, we used some of the red, some of the blues, and some of the whites in it to give it kind of the swirly effect in it. And he gave it to his buddies. But, man, he sent me videos of them, and it was like bringing grown men to tears kind of thing.
Have you ever watched is it the show called The Forge, where they make all the knives and hatchets and axes? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. Forged in Fire.
Yes, and it's always interesting to watch how they do it. Some of their cutting deals is you guys got to cut a rope real fast and do all that shit. I don't know about all that, but the craftsmanship on those knives is amazing, and the traditions that have been handed down years after years after years. Just it shows the. I just can't imagine a blacksmith in the 1700s, the stuff that he made out of sweat and brow. I mean, it's just crazy the way that they've done that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to think that you can't, they couldn't plug a machine up to do anything, right? Everything was with fire and biscuit powered, like my granddad used to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it was blood, sweat, and tears. But yeah, there's some extremely talented craftsmen and on that show, and I don't watch a ton of TV, but I haven't seen it in quite probably the last few seasons, but it clearly has an interest level because it's got to be on like season 25 or something now. I mean, it's been around for a little while, so it's neat because of the interest in that, right? In people making knives. I think we talked about this before. Like, it's man's oldest tool, right? I guess you could there's a debate between that and fire, right? But I mean, it really was, and I keep that in mind a lot because my company, we got to make functional tools that literally were what helped us evolve into what we are, right? To put us in this place where we can go out and hunt, or put us in this place where I can go to a damn concert. It all started right there. Like, there's a respect level to that. And, I think about that a lot when we're making stuff and designing new products and whatnot. There's all kinds of crazy cutlery out on the market, right? With all kinds of crazy mechanisms and uses and all this stuff. And it's like, I just want to keep it simple, man. I just want to make tools for people that are out there doing it and that they can pass down. And, this new culinary line that we've started, I've always made culinary knives, but not in a full scale production like we're doing now. And disclaimer, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not the guy in the kitchen that can like chop up, whatever, right? But I did go spend time with guys that could, and I did learn what they liked, and I did learn why they liked it and how they held the knife and why they held it that way and what they liked from a balance standpoint and what this does and what that does. I did educate myself on that and took that back in and kind of put it into our brand philosophy, right? And came out, we just released our Big Chef and our Petty Knife, and are about to right before Thanksgiving, kind of for the holidays, we're releasing kind of a cool like barbecue chopper, and then a long like briskets carver, turkey carver kind of thing. Those will be the next two additions to the line. But they're not going to dazzle you with beauty there, but they're functional as hell. And man, the comments we're getting back and the feedback we're getting back on these things, it's like it's awesome. I mean, Jeff, I think you said you enjoyed using yours, and that's cool, man. That's what I want to hear. Like that's what I want to hear. I hear so much of that these days about the culinary stuff that it was one of those things I was a little nervous kind of dipping over because I thought it was going to take a little bit away from our kind of adventure kind of target market, right? But damn, I mean, think about it. Like, we cook in our kitchens a hell of a lot more than we get to go out and chase wild adventure, right? And the end product of wild adventure typically winds up in the kitchen. So it's like why wouldn't we? And so this has been fun. This has been real cool. And I've also heard a lot of stories about some fingers getting about taken off by them. So,
yeah, they're definitely sharp.
You always want sharp knives, right? And that's definitely what we set out to achieve. But man, I watch some people with them when I show them to them. I'm like, oh, hold on a minute, because one thing about all of our culinary knives is we send them out in a Kydex sheath, which is something that a lot of companies don't do. They send you these knives in these boxes, and it's like, well, where the hell am I going to put that?
Yeah.
You know, like, and without it being a damn weapon somewhere. And so we actually made Kydex sheaths for all of them. And but they do take a little oomph to get them popped open, and I see some, I'm like, oh boy, man.
Well,
where are the Band-Aids?
So is that what's next? A little bit of more expand the culinary line?
That is, like I said, those will be the next two editions that'll come out on our line. And then I had this forever quest of making the lightest fixed blade field knife. I think I've about figured it out, and it's super cool. And I can't wait to I've a couple of people have laid eyes on it. I'm sure you guys know Wade Shoemaker. He's a great buddy. He's one of the good guys, and he actually has one, and he's like, holy shit, this is a game changer. Like total game changer.
Your bird knife is already light, and this is going to be lighter.
This is tapered tang, graphite, all kinds of little features that are just it was the product actually of a rum drinking session with my buddy Flip Pallet, the fabled fisherman. He's a mentor and a great buddy. Spent some time down with him at his place. This is right after COVID, and Flip, if you're listening to this, I'm not saying you're old, but he was being very cautious as to not, get out in the world, and he was staying pretty put. And so I went down and saw him, and we were talking about knives and about some other stuff. And then we just kind of started kicking around the idea of like, why hasn't anybody tried to make the lightest fixed blade knife? Like that a fishing guide could put in his back pocket of his damn board shorts while he's pulling a boat around, right? And wouldn't feel it. Or a guy could throw in his pack and he wouldn't even know it was there until he was ready to go use it. And so that's been kind of my pet project for a little while. And you will see that after the first of the year.
First of the year, hopefully. We can expect it.
Well,
I'm
going to give a shout out to you before we get off here. And my shout out is for Christmas gifts. Now, if you're a guy listening to this, we have a lot of ladies that listen to our podcast too. For a guy and you want to buy something for your wife, the culinary knives, and you can get them engraved, because I put Stanfield Hunting on mine, not because I wanted my name on them, because I don't want some asshole stealing them from up here, so I put my name on them.
Smart.
So
that asshole would be me.
Yep. And so you can engrave your knife with whatever you want on there to your wife, blah, blah, blah. And if your women listen to this, great gifts for your husbands. I'm telling you right now.
Stocking stuffers.
Great gifts. And so I highly recommend for or if an outfitter wanted to buy them for his guide, or if his guides were listening to this one to make their boss happy, they would buy him some more culinary knives, because I'm going to buy me a couple more of those big cleaver knives just because I use them around here a lot. But they're great tools, and you need to go and buy those and get them engraved.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. And we can, that process too, we spend a lot of time with our website and designing it where you can pop on and you can do everything from initials and names to actually uploading a logo for, corporate logo, lodge logo, whatever. If you've got it in a PDF or PNG file, we can actually laser that into the blade itself. I've done some cool ones for some companies, and they look badass. And again, also it keeps it at home and not at somebody.
Yep.
At least if it leaves, you can say, hey, you think that's, let me just check this out and see,
exactly.
I used to have this guy I made a bunch of oyster knives for, that on every one of them, he put stolen from Dr. Riddle and put his telephone number on it. Every single damn one of them he did.
Smart man.
Well, listen, Chris,
100%.
You guys are killing it right now. I'm so happy to see you guys are doing so well out there in this industry, and you make a great product. And, that's the end of the day, all the other stuff can go by the wayside, but you guys make an incredible product. I take mine with me every single hunt, and I use the bird knife every day. Y'all make an incredible product. Y'all are great people, and your success it's good to see, because you're one of the good guys in this.
Well, thank you guys. I'm awfully humbled. I think I told you this first. I was like, "I'm sure y'all want me on your show. All that good talent and stuff you got on there, man. I'm bringing down the value of the thing."
Yep.
But I appreciate that, and you guys kill it too. So many of my buddies. I didn't realize like people called me after the show came out last time and were like, "Holy shit, you were on the Big Honker podcast!" And I was like, "Yeah, man." They were like, "Damn, you must be doing something these days." And I was like, "These guys are fabulous." So y'all keep doing what you're doing too. And to go back, circle all the way back to something we talked about at the first. And again, it's I can't do it every day for everybody, but if you have a cause, if you have something going on, and we can help, certainly reach out to us and let's see if we can do it. Sometimes it might be a no, maybe next year. Sometimes it might be hell yeah, we can do it right now kind of thing. But I want to give back. And so if I can use this platform to get that word out, man, this is, if I can help in any way to do something cool to pay it forward, reach out to me. 100%.
We appreciate you. God bless you. Have a great Thanksgiving, my friend. And
We'll
if
get
you
you
ever
back
get this
on
way,
when this light fixed blade knife comes on. We'll get you on after the first of the year. How about that?
That sounds perfect. And you boys leave some ducks in the skies for us lowly working people, please.
we'll sure try.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
what we can.
Thank you, my friend. You have a great day and have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to you guys as well.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
It's crazy we're that close to Thanksgiving now.
We're here.
Yep. 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Get your carving knife out, people.
Yep.
You can order it now, and it'll get right to you.
I'm telling you, that is the best knife. Those two knives I use in there are the best knives we have.
I got my shank.
Yep. Well, you keep that to yourself there.
In case somebody gets a little unruly in here.
Your prison knife.
My prison shiv.
All right. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a great weekend and peace. Bye.
Boys and girls, you need to go check out all of our great sponsors. Please go check out Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Call, Boss Shot Shells, MLR Graphics, Hemp Hill Farms, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Stanfield Outfitters, Mossberg, Double T British Kennels, Ducks Unlimited, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Shin Gear, and Dirty Duck Coffee.